First things first, there are many types of AI. There are AI image generation. This is an example where you can have sketches and it will actually fill in something that looks quite realistic based on the image. This is called image-to-image generation. We have things like image detection, where it can detect objects with labeling. But for the context of today, we'll be focusing on large language models. So we'll start with what are LLMs. LLM stands for large language models, and they're a type of text generation. These are your classic chatbots like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. Our first important key concept is that AI hallucinates. Some of these hallucinations can be quite innocuous, and no one gets hurt if it misreads the number of M's in the word weather. But people also use it for clinical contexts. Users don't necessarily select for what is like the best from truth. They might be selecting for what mirrors and validates. And we saw with that problematic clinical example with the methamphetamine, it can lead to some consequences. But it's drawing from things like Reddit forums, unvetted mental health advice posts, and comment sections where you have flawed human beings that are interacting with each other. And this is what it's using to learn how to interact with you, the user. As it continues training on the internet, and there's more and more AI generation, it starts to recycle into itself. I have to be careful about what I'm prompting it. So if I'm saying, what questions would you ask? I'm fitting it into, it's going to fit its answer to try to answer that. If I leave it more general, it might take different approaches. So I'm sort of purposely doing that. It says, here's the gist. First, we'd explored how not being heard in boredom might repeat older patterns and defenses, then practice saying clear needs and noticing what changes. To hear the missing pieces, AI doesn't, I think, necessarily know what questions to ask. It also doesn't have the context of your lived experience. And to make intentional callbacks, I think there will always be a need for human connection. With therapy, there's something that you never get with a chatbot, that a therapist has their own perspectives and lived experiences. ChatGPT hasn't come out of the closet. It hasn't had shame, or it hasn't failed and been embarrassed. It doesn't have these lived experiences. I think the other thing is that people will always have problems, especially as AI gets better. There's a lot of fears, I think, about replacing folks' jobs. Even if that happens, there's going to be problems that arise, and people are going to be confused. I think if you can find areas, topics, and clinical themes of, again, things that are needs that aren't being met, stuff that you already have experience at and you feel competent with, and that you just enjoy talking about and curious, that's going to be the most effective marketing for your business without even having to self-describe, I do a great job. People are always going to have problems, and there will always be a need for human connection. And just providing value to another human being. As long as you do that, I don't think you can be replaced.